At Sarah's house, the air in the room was heavy, thick with words left unspoken. Detective Park stepped inside quietly. Wyan sat on the edge of the bed, rocking her baby gently in her arms. Neither of them looked at each other. For a moment, silence screamed louder than any sound. Then Jimin took a deep breath and spoke, his voice calm yet tired. Taehyung's been sentenced 10 years, and Suga, his right hand, got 7. Both were proven guilty. It's finally over, Wyan. Wyan just nodded, unable to find words. She held her baby tighter, as if he were the only anchor keeping her steady. Jimin took a hesitant step forward, his voice turning softer, almost fragile. Wyan, about what I confessed before, please don't let it burden you. I don't expect anything in return. He smiled faintly, a sad, honest smile. Don't even think I helped you because I wanted you back. No, I did it because I wanted you to be safe, to smile again. He paused, his eyes finally meeting hers, filled with quiet sincerity. I just wanted you to know how much space my heart still has for you. I'll be here, waiting, always. No pressure, just open arms. Wyan's eyes glistened, her heart twisting with emotions she couldn't name. The baby slept peacefully in her hold, but the silence that followed wasn't heavy anymore. It was warm, filled with something unspoken, but deeply felt. Jimin walked closer and kissed the baby's forehead, and then he did the same to Wyan. Her heart beat loudly in her chest at his act, and then Jimin left. 10 years later, the iron gates of the central prison creaked open. A cold wind brushed past as Kim Taehyung stepped out. Fresh air hit his nostrils, and he smiled like a man free of past and scenes. He looked thinner, older, but there was still that glint in his eyes, the kind that belonged to a man who had lost everything, yet refused to give up completely. 10 years had changed the world, but not the ache in his chest, the guilt, the memories, the echo of a baby's cry that still haunted his dreams. He took a deep breath, clenching the folded piece of paper in his hand. A photo, worn and faded. His son. My boy. His voice cracked as he looked at the picture. Appa's coming for you. Night Kim Mansion. The moon hung low above the luxurious mansion, its pale light spilling across the grand gates. Taehyung stood there, frozen, as he stared at the place. Each brick whispered memories he couldn't bury. The cries, the gunshots, the smell of smoke, and the faces of the ones he had lost. And then he remembered Wyan, her cries, her pain. He reached out, his fingers brushing against the cold iron gate, the same gate he had walked through 1,000 times before. But tonight it felt foreign. Home. He tried to push the gate open, but before he could, a voice stopped him. Hey, you can't go in there. Who are you? Taehyung turned slowly. The watchman, new to duty, eyed him suspiciously. A man in worn clothes, with prison scars, still faint on his wrist. Taehyung gave a faint smirk, half pain, half pride. I used to live here. The watchman scoffed. Live here? This place belongs to someone else. You must be mistaken. Those words hit like a bullet. Taehyung's smirk faded. He looked up at the towering mansion again. The home he built, on power and blood, now didn't even know his name. Once this gate bowed to my shadow. Now it refuses to even let me in. He took a step back, the weight of 10 years pressing down on him all at once. And who is the owner? Watchman, Mr. Kim Taehyung. Taehyung didn't say anything and pulled out his ID. The watchman saw the ID and his eyes went wide. He immediately bowed and opened the gate. Taehyung walked in. The hallways were silent. too silent. He had come back after 10 long years, hoping to see the same house he left behind. But it was a graveyard of forgotten voices. He walked deeper into the mansion. His eyes caught the flicker of a dim light coming from the living room. His heart skipped as he saw her. A fragile figure stood near the piano, motionless, her hair loose, and she was wearing white dress. Taehyung froze. For a second, he thought it was a ghost. Nona? The figure slowly turned. It was Sia, his sister. She looked at him with trembling lips, disbelief written all over her fragile face. Taehyung? Her voice was a whisper, like it hadn't been used in years. Taehyung stepped closer. Tears gathered in his eyes before he could stop them. You're back? Her weak smile broke him completely. Taehyung stood frozen, staring at his sister. Without a word, he rushed forward and pulled her into his arms. For the first time in 10 years, brother and sister hugged each other. Tears rolled freely, hers of disbelief, his of regret. Taehyung, Suga told me everything about you and Wayan. Taehyung's body got stiff. His gaze fell to the floor, shame washing over his face. You got your punishment, Taehyung. Her tone wasn't harsh, just tired. I don't have any complaints anymore. You have suffered enough. I can see it in your eyes, and I know you regret what you did. Taehyung nodded, his throat tight to form words. But Wayan was innocent. That night, as we were returning home, a little boy suddenly ran in front of our car. Jin panicked and turned the wheel to save him. She paused, tears spilling from her tired eyes. And the car hit someone's car. Someone we couldn't even see clearly in that storm. It was Wayan. The world stopped for Taehyung. His heart clenched painfully as every memory, every occasion, every hateful word flashed before his eyes. The truth hit harder than any punishment ever could. His legs gave out and he dropped to his knees, clutching his sister as tears streamed down his face. Nona, what have I done? He cried into her arms, his voice shaking with years of buried pain. Sia held him close. She gently ran her finger through his hair, her own tears falling silently. Enough, Tay, please. What's done is done. You were blind in pain. We lose pieces of ourselves to find the one who can fix us. What do you mean? Sia's lips curved into a small smile. Sugar. It was his name that made Taehyung blink. When you were in prison, I was half dead, leaving without reason. But it was him, Suga, who brought me back. He used to sit beside my hospital bed every day, telling me stories, playing music, waiting for me to open my eyes. He believed when no one else did. The day I woke up, the first face I saw wasn't the doctor's, it was his. And he cried like a child, holding my hand, saying, "Welcome back." She chuckled softly, wiping a tear. Somewhere between pain and healing, I fell for him. Taehyung looked at her and smiled, for the first time in years. So my cold-hearted right-hand man actually has a heart, only for me. They both laughed friendly, a sound that hadn't existed in that house for years. Suddenly door opened and Suga walked in. His eyes were calm. He wasn't carrying the coldness, but the steadiness of a man who had found meaning. Sia stood up immediately, a warm smile lightening her face. Yoongi? He walked towards her, his gaze briefly meeting Taehyung's before softening at her tone. You should be resting. Not today. My brother's finally home. Taehyung rose to his feet. The two men standing face to face after 10 long years. Their past flashed between them, blood, betrayal, and unspoken loyalty. For a moment, neither said a word. The silence, his voice low but steady. You look different, Tae. Presented what life couldn't. It taught you the weight of silence. Taehyung smiled faintly, guilt shadowing his eyes. Yes, we both changed. You traded your gun for a heartbeat, huh? Suga's lips curved into a smirk. Yeah, and for once, It feels like I made the right deal. Sia looked between the two men, her heart swelling with love. She hugged them together. You both lost too much already. Don't lose each other again. Suga's hand brushing hers lightly. We won't. You have done your time, Tay. Now, leave for something better. Taehyung nodded slowly. I will, starting with finding my son. The words hung in the air. Tay, you don't have to search for your son. What? What do you mean? Actually, Ryan and we are in touch. I have been meeting her, and Jay too. The name Jay hit him like a whisper from the past. Jay, my son? Sia nodded gently. Yes, Tay, your son. She hesitated for a second before continuing. Ryan is in living relationship with Detective Park. Taehyung's expressions froze. But don't worry, Ryan never hid your identity from Jay. She made sure he knew who his real father was, and Jimin, he raised him like his own. Tears glimmered in Taehyung's eyes. She told him about me. Taehyung's throat tightened. I want to meet him, Nona, just once. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go. For the first time in years, Taehyung's eyes glimmered, not with guilt, but with hope. At Ryan and Jimin's house, the soft laughter of a child echoed through the garden. Jay was running around with a paper plane, his tiny feet chasing the wind, while Ryan and Jimin watched. The air smelled of peace that comes after years of storms. Just then, the sound of a car caught Ryan's attention. She stood, her heart skipping a beat as she recognized the figures stepping out, Sia, Suga, and behind them, Taehyung. For a moment, time froze. His eyes found Ryan. Taehyung? Taehyung lowered his head slightly, guilt flashing through his eyes. But then, a small voice interrupted the silence. Mom? Who is him? Ryan looked down at her son, the same deep brown eyes that mirrored Taehyung's. She knelt beside him. That man, he's someone very special, Jay. He's your real father. Jay blinked, confusion dancing across his innocent face. Then he looked up at Taehyung and slowly walked towards him. Taehyung's heart raced. He knelt down, trembling, as Jay stopped right before him. You're my dad? Taehyung nodded, tears streaming freely now. Yes, son, I am. And I'm sorry, I wasn't there when you needed me. Jay hesitated, then smiled softly and threw his little arms around Taehyung's neck. Mom said, you made mistakes, but you're still my dad. And that was it. All took for Taehyung to break. He hugged his son tightly, crying into his shoulder as everyone watched with teary eyes. Sia smiled. Taehyung gently broke the hug, lifting Jay into his arms. He turned to Ryan, his eyes heavy with emotion. Ryan, I'm sorry for everything I did, and thank you for letting me be a part of his life. Ryan's gaze softened. She nodded gently. Taehyung, what matters is that you're willing to change. Taehyung's lips quivered slightly as he nodded. Her approval felt like sunlight piercing years of darkness. Then he turned to Jimin. I hope you are not mad at me. Not at all. I got what I deserve. Now I'll only do business, legally. Jimin smiled faintly, relief in his eyes. Taehyung set Jay down, and the boy ran straight to play with Suga and Sia. Detective, not really part of my business, but can I ask you something? Sure, go ahead. Why aren't you two married yet? 10 years have passed. I left it all to Ian. She asked for time, and I'm still giving it to her. Good luck to both of you. He turned to leave, only to bump into someone. The world tilted. He stumbled, and a woman fell on top of him. Long hair cascaded across his face. Taehyung's hand went to her waist to steady her, and their eyes locked. For a moment, time itself froze. Two hearts, two lives, two unspoken sparks. Everything held in that single gaze, but reality intruded. Jimin coughed once, twice, and then Taehyung, Sarah, both looked up. Sarah quickly got off him, brushing herself, cheeks pink. Who's him, Jimin? Your friend? Her eyes narrowed, apprising him from head to toe. Yeah, kind of. Actually, want me to set you two up? Sarah shot him a sidelong glare, arms crossed. Jimin continued, teasing mercilessly. I'm pretty sure your single self would want that. By the way, Sarah, this is Taehyung. And Taehyung, this is Sarah, Wayne's best friend. Taehyung? That, that Taehyung? Jimin nodded, smirking at the drama unfolding. Sarah finally turned to face him, crossing her arms. Damn. Taeyong started coming there often to meet Jay, and during these meets-up, Sarah and Taeyong got closer, as Sarah always sticks to Jay. And Suga proposed to Sia for a marriage, and getting inspired from them, Wayne also proposed to Jimin directly for marriage. And with time, Sarah and Taeyong also become inseparable. Jay was so happy to have such a sweet and healthy family. After all, he got two pairs of parents.